Welcome to Grace by Rain, a podcast about the beauty in life. I'm your host, Elaine Shircliff. Welcome back, everybody. Today I have a guest. I love having guests. Today I have a guest. His name is Michael Spruit. He lives here in Grand Rapids. I found him on TikTok because he also went to the Maximum Fun Tour with the Wonder Years, Yellow Card, and A Day to Remember. That concert was fantastic. I do have an episode about that coming up as well. I know that it's been it's been almost a month since the concert, but it was so good, it deserves to continue to be talked about. But I found him on TikTok because he, like I said, he also went to the concert. He had some great videos of the concert. And I went to his profile, like all do, because I'm like, does he have any other concert videos? This is so cool. And I saw that he was doing a thing called the concert alphabet, where you work through the alphabet, A through Z, by seeing a band name with that letter. So, like Y for Yellow Card, D for A Day to Remember, W for the Wonder Years. And he only has V and X left. So I was like, you know what? Come on my show. They'll be great. And he came on. It was a blast. Leading up to it, I was trying not to make this other part of my podcast be so hockey themed, right? I was like, oh, he must have like worked for the Griffins or is a really big fan of the Griffins. At one point for a little bit. And then he sent me his bio, and he spent 8 years working in professional hockey, first with the Griffins from 2014 to 2018, where he was part of the 2017 Calder Cup championship run, which is really cool. He got to document all of that because he is a multimedia creator. And then he went on to the Detroit Red Wings from 2018 to 2021. He got to travel with the team and create behind the scenes content, which my mom was very excited about because my mom loves the Red Wings and has her whole life. And so this was like a cool little pull back the curtain moment for her when I told her what I was doing. And so I hope you enjoy this episode, Mom. I know that you will. Um, so now he currently leads multimedia projects for LLYC. It is a marketing agency with an office in Grand Rapids. So while we first started talking about concerts and the beauty that comes with going to a concert, we then ended up talking about the beauty of the Grand Rapids Griffins and hockey. There are some great stories told in both segments. The first half being about the concerts and the second half being about hockey. I think that you all will enjoy it. I was blown away by a story that was told in the second half about the Griffins. And blown, when I say blown away, I mean it in the best way. And it reminds me why I moved here and why I love covering the Grand Rapids Griffins and why they were a huge part of me deciding to move 5 hours away from my entire family. I hope you enjoy. He was a delight to have on. He was also very patient with me while it took me forever to get this posted. He is very lovely, and I hope that you all listen and love the things he has to say, and then go follow and support him on social media. He does great video work. I absolutely enjoy his social medias on TikTok and Instagram. So wonderful. I will also link those in the show notes. All right, everyone, enjoy. Well, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. So like I always start on the show is because this podcast is about the beauty in life. What is something that you found beautiful this week?
Beautiful this week. Well, in Grand Rapids, it snowed for the first time, and I love winter, so seeing the snow for the first time is beautiful, obviously. Um, and then I think we're here to talk about music. So it was this week that I went to two different concerts. I saw All Time Low and Mayday Parade, and then A Day to Remember and Yellow Card. So those were both like beautiful concerts too.
They I was at the one and it absolutely was. That Yellow Card Day to Remember concert was phenomenal. We were sitting in two separate places though. You were in the stands, right? And I was literally at the edge of the pit.
Yeah. So I would say 90% of the shows that I go to, I'm in the pit, like in the pit, right in the middle of it, bouncing around with everybody. The person that I went to that show with is short and didn't want to be in the pit. So I was like, all right, I'm good with being in the stands once in a while.
So usually like when I was younger, I would go all up in like in the actual, I would partake. And almost always it was a short girl that was like going crazy. I got a shiner at Kill Switch Engage in Chimera concert because she was just swinging her fist. I was like, okay. So it's funny to me to know that like a shorter person didn't want to go in because that's
Yeah.
usually what I see.
Watching that pit from above, I was like, dang, that's kind of a rough pit down there. It's a Tuesday. I'm okay being up here because I've been to some rougher shows. I think at a Dropkick Murphy show, I broke my rib in like the
Oh,
first song, and like I'm getting older, so it's still fun, but you gotta take it easy a little bit once in a while.
yeah. And 21 years ago, I went to go see Yellow Card at Warped Tour.
Mhm.
They actually mentioned it in the like they actually mentioned that Warped Tour in the concert. They were like, "Oh, this is starting to look like the 2004 pit." And I had PTSD because I didn't actually get to see them because the band before them, the pit got out of control and someone like was dropped on my head and I caused a 50-person dog pile. So obviously like I was not going to be attending the rest of that concert once
Yeah.
they dug me out. So I've been waiting for like 21 years to see
Yeah.
them.
And I didn't know that they weren't on tour for a long time, like 10 years or more. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was definitely a good one to see.
definitely. I loved it. I'm still thinking about it. Like going through the TikToks over and over. They just keep appearing. I'm like, yes, yes, new friends. Let's go. Um, now, where did you're doing this thing called like the alphabet concert where you're trying to see one, at least one of every letter. Where did you get the idea for that? Like, how did you come about deciding to do that?
Yeah. So the concert alphabet, so A to Z, see a band that starts with every letter of the alphabet. This was not my idea. So this was a trend on either TikTok or Instagram or something. Maybe 6 months ago, and I don't think it was a huge trend. I saw a few people posting it, and I was like, "Oh, I think I've seen a lot of bands. Like, I'll try it out and just see how many I have filled out." And it got down to I hadn't seen a band with the letter V, X, or Y, and I was like, "Okay, who's coming up soon that I could see that are in there?" And that's where I saw, "Oh, Yellow Card's coming in a few months." So I want to see them no matter what, but yeah, I'll get tickets to that and that'll mark one of those off. So yeah, I've added my Y and then I just got to get a V and an X still.
You were so close the other night for that V.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few coming. The Verve Pipe is from Grand Rapids and they have some shows coming up around here, so I'll knock that one off and then I don't know about the X yet, but we'll get there.
That's a tough one. I think I might still have X. When I was going through like my own concerts I've seen in at least my lifetime, I was like, oh wait, I think the only one I have left is X
Yeah.
because that's a hard one. Like
Yeah.
you said, there was Exhibit, like
Yeah, Exhibit, the XX, I'm sure there's some other ones out there. Some smaller band. I'll
yeah,
count the smaller ones. Most of the ones I put on there were big, but if a smaller band comes through, I'll count them.
yeah. Well, why not? It's a concert.
I think
They got to start somewhere.
yeah, the harder part for me is I know I'll get those last few, but there were some letters where I've seen, and I just did one band per letter. There were some where I've seen like five or six bands of that letter, and I was like, oh, which one am I going to pick to put in this post? Because there's so many good bands. So that was the harder part for
There
me.
there were I was looking through your list and I was like, oh man. And some of them were when you saw Kenny Wayne Shepherd, was that with the Offspring? Was it the Offspring or when
Kenny
he
Wayne
opened?
Shepherd. I don't,
He's a blues.
uh, it wasn't with The Offspring. It might have been with ZZ Top.
Oh, yeah, that's what it
Um,
was.
so I'm going to give a shout out to this app, I guess. So I use an app called the Concert Archive, and I think it's just this like one guy that kind of runs this whole app, and I've used it for years, but it hooks up with there's a few different sites that it hooks up to. So it tracks like every concert that has ever happened in existence. And then you
Oh,
can also put
nice.
your own data in. So anytime you go to a show, you can go on and it's already in there. But yeah, like I could go and look up Kenny Wayne. Yep. So that was Rock the Rapids in 2013 at Fifth Third Ballpark, which is where the Whitecaps play. And that's when I saw ZZ Top also.
Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to remember when saw him. I think it was either with Van Halen or I think it was like Van Halen, ZZ Top, and him at Blossom in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, which is a
Okay.
beautiful venue that I love. Um, so what has been your favorite concert to see in that alphabet?
Um, so you sent me this question, and it's actually not even the band that I chose for this spot in the list.
Okay.
And I don't know why this one stands out so much because it's not the biggest and it's like not the most well-known band, but it was just like the vibes and everything were just amazing that night. And like, I don't know, their set list and the people that were there. And I was in the pit and it was just like so fun. Um, I don't remember the year. It was probably like 2013 or 14 or somewhere in there. But I saw Social Distortion at the Orbit Room in Grand Rapids, which isn't open anymore. But everything about that show was just like perfect.
They have good vibes. They definitely have good vibes.
Yeah,
I
I was
enjoy them.
really into them at the time. They had just come out with the album that had Machine Gun Blues on it, which is a pretty cool song. Yeah, so that was just a fun show.
I love that. Was there any other one that comes close to it that or is that one just far and away the best one?
Well, my favorite band ever is Red Hot Chili Peppers. I think I've seen them three or four times. They usually come to Grand Rapids because Anthony Kiedis is from Grand Rapids. Um, so they're always a good one. I think 2006 is when they came out with Stadium Arcadium, which is a huge album for them. So seeing that tour was awesome. Green Day, when they came out with American Idiot, was a huge tour. I saw them twice on that tour. Um, I think the last show where I was like, okay, this is a band that I have to see was Blink 182 with Tom in the band. Because I did see Blink 182 once when he wasn't in the band, but 2 years ago I saw him at Little Caesars Arena.
Um, so Green Day is in my top for ones that I've seen. I've seen them multiple times, and I people that haven't seen them, I don't think they get what a Green Day concert is. It feels like a religious experience almost. Like there's a lot of moments where it feels like so for a person who's Christian or Catholic, there's like praise and worship, and I feel like that is what happens in those concerts because they'll even do covers and then he'll do like a nice little speech about something that's like really important at that time, whether it be politics or whatever's going on in the world. And it's always very insightful, something that you're not always expecting when you're at a concert. And I just, if anyone has a chance to go see Green Day, I'm like, do it. You
Yeah.
won't regret it.
Yeah. Billy Joe is definitely an entertainer. So like, obviously their music is good and great and everything, but he also knows how to just like capture a crowd and entertain a crowd. So yeah, the whole thing just like meshes and is awesome.
Now, are there any favorite moments for you that stick out from any of these concerts that you've seen?
So this is a band that I've seen so many times. I forgot how many times it was. It was like 14 or 17 times or something. And they're from Grand Rapids. Uh, yeah, 17 times I've seen them at least that I've tracked. Uh, Mustard Plug. So Mustard Plug's a ska band from Grand Rapids. They play. So I just did a post the other day asking people what their favorite venue was in Grand Rapids, and I just pulled a few of different sizes. So the Intersection's been a big one for a long time. 20 Monroe is a little bit newer, but a little bit bigger. And then obviously Van Andel is the big one where a lot of bands come and play. But their shows, especially maybe like 10 or 15 years ago, were so fun and you just have like this connection with everybody in the crowd. And there's certain songs where everyone just like knows what's going to happen. And you put your arms around everybody and like everybody's spinning in a circle. And it's just like you just feel so connected to everybody. So I'd say something like that.
Nice. Yeah. For me, I think I had a lot of memories that were kind of like that one, right? But when we were at the Day to Remember concert, it was watching that little girl was a crowd surfer.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone was super like you could tell from my vantage point, like you could see that there were many people who were making sure that like she was going to achieve this without getting hurt. And I was like, that is absolutely beautiful because that mom put full trust into a bunch of strangers to let her daughter crowd surfer.
Yeah.
Like, and I've never seen anything like to that extent at a concert where everyone was so mindful about making sure that someone was completely safe and having the time of their life at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, a pit is like a special place. It gets rough and you're like running into each other and yeah, it's like you come out sore the next day and everything, but at the same time, usually everybody is taking care of each other. And if somebody trips and falls down, everyone like you pick them back up real quick. Um, you can tell when someone hasn't really been in there before, so you kind of like give them a little bit of space. Um, I've been doing it for so long that I can tell when someone hasn't been near a pit and they're like, oh, cool, this is fun. I'm going to get towards the edge and just start pushing people, which I hate because if you're not going to be in it, then don't like start trying to push people over. So all of a sudden I'll get like, okay, I'm going to like swing a little bit wide on this one and knock this person in just so that they know like this is what it's going to feel like to get knocked around. And then usually they stop after that.
That's amazing. Oh my God, that's amazing. See, that's why if I'm not going to go in it, I stand close enough to enjoy it in case I decide I want to go in. But usually I'm like 2 rows, 2 to 3 rows back. Sometimes it's better to be a spectator.
Yeah, which is fine. Like
Yeah.
you can tell when people are just there standing around, but when someone's in there like just pushing people in the back, I can't stand that.
Yeah. No, that's also very dangerous.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you see a banana in the pit, and that
Yep. That always gets a pop from the crowd, a banana or a Pikachu or a hot dog or whatever.
okay, I've never seen a Pikachu. I now have like a goal of seeing Pikachu in a concert.
There was a Pikachu at all time low just this week. So
I love it. There's always a hot dog in a concert in Chicago. Now, how many of these bands are like local bands?
mm, not too many. I'm like so a lot of the bands, because obviously I've been to, I don't know, 60 or 70 shows or something like that. And there's some years where I'll go to like 15 shows in a year. And then there's some years where I've only went to like one or two. Um, so obviously the openers get added in to bands that I've seen too. So those are going to be local if they're opening for a local band. Mustard Plug, I would say, is the big one.
Um, which venue in Grand Rapids is your favorite one to go to? One that's still around, and if it's not still around, just tell me why it's your
Yeah.
favorite.
So I just did a post about this recently with four that I go to a lot. And there are definitely others and a lot of small ones. Like, I don't know if you'd consider a bar a venue, but obviously bands play at bars and
I
things like
do.
that. Yeah.
If you
Um,
play music, you're a venue in my mind. Okay.
yeah, for sure. So I'd say the big ones though are Van Andel Arena. That's where you're gonna get your big shows, and I've seen some of like my favorite stuff there. That's where I've seen Red Hot Chili Peppers, and like my first concert was there, so I'll always have a special place for that. 20 Monroe is right across the street. Definitely step down in size. You get some of the smaller bands, which means it's like a more intimate show, which is cool. That one's a lot newer. I think it opened in 2016 or 17 or something like that. So it's still fresh and new and things like that. The intersection has three different venues now. So they've got their big main area, and then the stash is out front, and then elevations down in the basement. So they can do different size bands in there. I've been to all of them and I've seen great shows in all of them. I would not put any of those venues above another. It's just like the size of the band that's coming through. Maybe they're just starting out. Maybe they just don't have as big of a fan base. Maybe there's somebody local that's big here, but not as big nationally. But even like Pyramid Scheme, which is right across the street from where I'm sitting right now, that's the smallest out of the bunch, and it is a bar basically. But I've been to some amazing shows there. It gets hot, and every time I come out of there, it's like I just jumped into a swimming pool, but it's so fun every time.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. As a person who is new here, I love to hear about these venues because I am typically going to go alone because I don't really know many people here. And I'm like, are they safe? Are they good? Obviously, Van Andel is safe because I've go there for hockey all the time. And
Hmm.
if Miss Betty can work the back dock, then I think we'll be fine
Yeah.
at that arena. Um, but like they're all safe, right? Like they're all in like
Yeah.
good
So
areas and
those four that I just mentioned are all like within 2 blocks from Van Andel.
oh,
So they're in like this just this small little area. So the one I mentioned before, where I saw Social Distortion at, and I've seen a bunch of other shows there too, was the Orbit Room, which was pretty much like in a strip mall out near Woodland Mall.
okay.
But like you would pull up to it and you're like, is this right? Like this looks like a strip mall because it was basically. But it was like a big venue, and pretty much when 20 Monroe opened, it kind of like phased them out because they were almost the same size, and 20 Monroe's right downtown. But they had like such a history with all the bands that came through there. Like Linkin Park played there. I think Yellow Card played there. Like the whole like punk emo scene from like the early 2000s, they all came through there. So it was kind of sad to see that go, and a lot of people miss it.
Yeah, that's how it is in Akron and Cleveland too. Like there were some really good, what I consider really good venues. They were smaller, but they had so many of those punk bands from like the late 90s, early 2000s come through, or that's where they got their start. Like Annabelle's in Highland Square, like the Black Keys played there a few times before anyone really knew who they were. I mean, I first saw them at a house party when they were working at like the AMC movie theater. Like afterwards, going to some random house party and being like, "Oh, what's this music?" Those kind of things. I feel like we're missing that today. I asked my cousins about it, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't have the same kind of music scene that you did when you were growing up." And I was like, "Well, that's a real bummer." Like these smaller venues with local bands that somehow make it big. And everyone had a story of seeing them in a house party or like a dive bar, and then a smaller venue um, that's probably comparable to 20 Monroe. Like, I feel like we're kind of missing that chunk of what makes concerts and music beautiful. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yeah, I think we're really lucky in Grand Rapids because there are a lot of venues, and there's a whole bunch more that I didn't say also because I just can't say them all. But you can go to like Founders and see bands play, and Frederick Meyer Gardens has an amphitheater where you can see bands play, and um, like any bar, you can go see bands. I'll also give them a shout out. I don't know if I think they're still open. I don't know if they're staying open or not, but Skeletones was another one. Like when I was in high school, was huge. and it was more of like the heavy screamo people call it. But I used to go there a lot, and that was like tiny but awesome. And I still have a bunch of friends that I knew from back then now.
Nice. Oh, I love that. What do you enjoy most about going to concerts? Like, what's your favorite thing about it?
For me, it's just like being able to let loose and you're in the pit. And I said I'm in the pit like 90% of the time. I will sit up in the seats if I have to. But I always feel like, ooh, I wish I was down there. Because I just love like being able to run around and jump around and it's loud and you can just be however you want, basically.
Yeah, that is always nice when I'm the same way. I struggle with sitting anywhere but the pit. Obviously, when I go to like concerts that are orchestra or like Audra McDonald type singers, like Josh Groban singers, I'm obviously not, there's not like a pit there. It's
Yeah,
more, um, the pit is the orchestra, like
right.
that's, but there's something about like standing next to people that you don't know and like you just feel like you've bonded to them. Like there's some sort of like concert, um, like you can get concert friends really fast.
Yeah,
Like when you're in the pit. Like when people are in the seats, it can happen. It definitely can happen. But I think when you are in the pit, it just kind of like you're prepared that you're gonna run into someone, you're gonna meet someone. I mean, I'm that girl that half the time is like, I love your outfit.
yeah.
Like, then you make friends real fast that way.
Um, so I think that my like love of being in the pit and where I was like, oh, this is really cool is I was probably like 14 or 15 maybe. Um, the Gerald R. Ford Museum right downtown Grand Rapids, right on the river. They used to do concerts in that grass area right out front, and they would do free concerts. Story of the Year was playing there, like when they had just came out with Page Avenue, I think that album is called. And I was right against the fence, and the singer was screaming whatever popular song there was, and he reached out and rubbed my head, and I was like, this is cool. And then, yeah, ever since then, I'm like, yeah, this is the place to be.
Yeah. Oh gosh. No, I feel that. Mine was I was at a I was at a Christian festival, but it was Flyleaf was there.
Okay.
And I don't know, it was like amazing. And I got pushed all the way up to the front somehow. And she just like dropped down and started praying over like all the people that were in front of her. And she started to try to connect to people. Like, um, she started breaking things down, started asking people questions. And I mean, they're a Christian band. So she was all like, okay, everyone, we're going to take like 10 minutes to pray. And I was like, okay, I know not every pit is like that, right? Like that is, but it was seeing how even the bands connect with you, like how you're saying, like it makes the vibe of the show for me better. I mean, obviously there are bands that like I just really want to see and I'll suck it up and not be in the pit because I love Bruce Springsteen, but I don't make that kind of money.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
to sit down there on the floor like when he first did a bunch of tours, there was like a pit style standing room only thing, but now it's just seats. I think it's because the fan base is a little bit older. They need to sit.
Yeah. That is something I've been noticing. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, wait, does the pit cost more or less usually? Because I used to go to show, like, I went to the Foo Fighters in like 2006 or something, and I feel like we paid like $30 to be on the floor, which I don't think happens anymore.
No.
Um, But then a couple years ago when I went to see Blink 182, I was like, okay, it's this price to sit in the seats and whoa, it's like 500 to sit on the floor. I might have been looking at like aftermarket tickets, but it was really expensive. So I think it is usually more expensive, but then I go to a venue like 20 Monroe where I love to be on the floor, but they're walking around with
Right.
signs and they're like upgrade and you can be up in the seats, which
Why?
I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's like, I don't know. It just depends. Some people like to be in seats, some people like to be on the floor. So
Yeah, at the House of Blues in Cleveland, um, the seats, like the pit standing room is less expensive. And then they have like kind of seats. Like there's ones behind that you can sit in, but like they're up top, like almost like a box, but they're not a box. They're so people can look down.
yeah.
And I would only go to those ones when I would only sit up there when I knew it was a band that was going to get like absolutely out of control, like Flogging Molly on St. Patrick's Day. I was not, I didn't have health insurance at the time. I was not going in that pit, but I really wanted to be there, so I was definitely up in the wings
Yeah.
because I was not dying that day.
My probably craziest concert story was also from Flogging Molly, and I don't know if it's good for the show or not, but it did happen at one of their shows.
Their shows are always crazy. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You would think like I had a better pit experience. I mean, I did get the black eye, but like she was a small little girl. That just happens. I had a better pit and safer pit experience at like more hardcore metal bands than I did at any Flocking Molly concert I've ever been to.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Like,
get pretty crazy.
they get wild. Even more, well, Dropkick Murphys can be rough too, but it depends on what time of year you go. Like if you're going in March, you're just dumb. That was my fault. I've only ever seen most of them in March.
Yeah. They do seem to come through here every March, so
Yeah.
and I'm always there.
Nice. Do you have any venue bucket lists that you want to go to or see?
Not really. Like I think everyone would love to go to Red Rock, so and I have been there. It just wasn't during the show. I just ran around on the steps because I was camping nearby. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like once you're like there and the music's playing and everything, I feel like it doesn't really matter where you are.
Yeah. Is there a band that you've wanted to see that maybe you haven't had a chance to see or that you would see again, that you really want to see again?
Oh, so this is actually a very fun story for me. I love nostalgia and I don't know, being a millennial and things like that. So there is a band that I just bought a ticket for, and actually it was at that A Day to Remember show. I ran into somebody that I used to work with, and he said, "Oh, this band's coming." And I was like, "What? How did I not hear about that?" So the Offspring are coming to Van Andel in February, and I have seen them once before. The last time they were here was in 1994 at a venue called the Polish Falcons, which is just like this little West Side bar that maybe fits 150 people in it. It's not really a venue, it's like a bar more than anything. Um, no idea why they haven't came back since. Like they play in Detroit every time. They're always at Pine Knob. So when I heard that they were coming to Van Andel, I was like, okay, I'm buying my ticket right now. So I'll definitely be there for that one.
I was looking at the ticket prices for that. I think you actually commented on someone's TikTok that they were coming to Van Andel,
Yeah.
and I was like, ugh, I
Yeah,
don't know if I
because
have that money, but I would want to be I would want to be in the pit
my
for that.
thing lately is to post about Grand Rapids, whether it's concerts or anything. So usually I'll pick one song, and I think this kind of started at the Blink 182 show that I was at, which was in Detroit, not Grand Rapids. But they played a song called Not Now, and Mark said, "Okay, we're going to play this song that we don't usually play." And I was like, "Oh, sweet." And I recorded that, and it kind of blew up because people were like, "Oh, Detroit's so lucky. I can't believe that they played that for them." And so I was like, "Oh, cool." Uh, and then I don't know if I would consider it a concert, but it kind of was. But Adam Sandler was here a couple months ago. I probably shouldn't say this because they said no phones allowed, but I recorded one of his songs and that blew up and people loved it. So yeah, I've just been recording like one song. I like to enjoy the show, so I don't have my phone out the whole time, but like one song that I feel like means something to me. And I'll post that and say Grand Rapids, and then people love it. And a bunch of people comment and they're like, I can't believe I didn't know that they were here. So I've been trying to like be like, all right, well, these are the bands that are coming, so watch out for them.
Yeah. Grand Rapids in general is actually, I feel like it's a very slept on town. Um, it was funny because people from Cleveland and Akron who notoriously get like shat on for being in Cleveland and Akron were like, why would you move to Grand Rapids? I'm like, you just don't understand.
Yeah.
And it was like the art and the music and it people thought it was just because of like the Griffins why I loved being here, but it was so much like so much of this town and the surrounding cities is like there's art everywhere. I mean, art prize, like that in itself. I wish they would do like a music prize now that I know that so many of the venues are so close to each other, like just a week long of like bands.
I mean,
Like
I think any night of the week, any week, you can find a concert.
yeah. Oh, I didn't. Okay, now I feel like I need to do that like during the off season when there isn't a
Yeah.
bunch of Griffins games going on. Go to a concert at night.
Like Pyramid Scheme and Intersection, they're smaller, but they have something going like either every night or every other night. Like they always have stuff going, and it's good
Nice.
stuff.
Oh, that's even better. So the amphitheater is opening up soon. I don't know when. When is the amphitheater opening up?
It'll be next. I don't know if they've announced the date, but it'll be
Okay.
once the snow's gone. So
Yes.
spring or summer of next year.
I love that because I came from, I mean, I moved here from Cuyahoga Falls, which is where Blossom, this outdoor kind of like amphitheater venue is. And I love outdoor venues. I think they're some of the best ones to watch a concert at. Um, I was driving by it tonight, the amphitheater, and they were testing the lights out.
Mm,
Let me tell you, I got so distracted on 131. Like, I think I will be staying off 131 anytime there's a concert
yeah.
because that's going to be rough with distraction wise. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
the traffic is what it is, but during the concert, I think I would be one of those people that's like, oops, I just went through two lanes because
Yeah.
I was watching that. But are you excited for the amphitheater? Do you think it's gonna add another level to this?
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I think there are a lot of bands, and I kind of thought this with the Offspring maybe that they only played outdoor venues, but now they're coming to Van Andel like right before the amphitheater opens, so I guess not. But I think there are a lot of bands that prefer to do an outdoor show. I think it typically an amphitheater has a lot of the equipment and everything set up where if they play an arena, they have to bring all their own equipment. So I think it's a lot less on the bands if they just go from amphitheater to amphitheater. So maybe I don't bring in some bands that just don't want to do the arena shows. Plus, I mean, just being outside will be cool. It's almost the same size as Van Andel, so I was a little confused on why they did that and didn't make it bigger or smaller, but yeah, it'll be cool.
I'm interested to see sound wise how you can hear it over by the Blue Bridge
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, I've wondered that too. Like, oh, can we go hang out down the block and like listen to the concert?
Right,
Probably.
because I will.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I will also go there. I don't want, anyone to think I'm just gonna like not pay money to go see a band. But
Well, they're playing it
if I
outside, like whatever.
right,
But yeah,
but
I'll be there too.
if I can walk around that area, like it's so beautiful over there, like and hear a band, like yes,
Hmm.
sign me up. Sign me up. Um, so I do want to veer into the Griffins because I write about the Griffins. You've worked for them, and you still do like video. Is it for your business or for them?
Yeah. So going back to when the Griffins started in 1996, I was just like a little kid at the time. And that was the first hockey game I ever went to was back in 1996. So my family like went in on season tickets with three or four other families. So we had like 12 games a year or something like that. And then me and my sister would split. So I'd maybe get to go to like 6 games a year. But when you're, I don't know how old I was, like 10, it was a huge deal to go to those games. So I loved it. And for probably like 6 or 7 years, we had those season tickets and we're always in the same spot and everything. And it was awesome. And then I ended up going off to college and everything, uh, came back, needed a job, saw the Griffins were hiring an intern. I was like, well, I love the Griffins, and this is for video, which is what I went to school for, so I'm going to apply for it. And I got it. Like, it was kind of luck, but I guess I was also decent at what I did. So internship there, I thought maybe it would last a year, but they liked me, I liked them, so it kept going. 5 years went by, and by the end of it, I was the multimedia manager, and yeah, it was just a great opportunity that like started as a kid and worked into being a whole job.
Yeah. How was that for you to be able to work for your hometown team?
It was awesome because I remember being a kid and like looking down the tunnel and being like, oh, I wonder what's back there and everything. And then all of a sudden, like being back there every day, like maybe for the first few months, that was like a shock and like so cool and everything. Um, and then just being around the players all the time and getting to work with them was fun. Um, for me, I had like pride for the team and the city and everything already. And I think that kind of showed in the work that I did. And I think they realized that. So that was part of why they really liked me a lot. Um, and then we won the Calder Cup in 2017. So like it couldn't really get better than that. So that was clicking like team wise. And on the back end, our video team of like me, Mike King, Phil Cronin, like we were just making these awesome videos. So in the sports video world, they have this thing called Idea Conference where you submit all your like promo videos and behind the scenes videos and sponsor videos and things like that. And we ended up winning best music video. And it was kind of crazy because minor league teams don't ever win. And we were against like NBA and NFL teams and we won. So that was the same year we won the Calder Cup. So it was like all levels were clicking.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that. From the Calder Cup side, what was that like to be a part of that? Like that had to be special, right?
Yeah. I mean, the whole team that was there was like a special group. Uh, it's been a little while, but we had like Anthony Mantha, Tyler Bertuzzi, um, Matt Ford, um, Phil Hronik. There's like all these big names, and most of them have gone on and played in the NHL. Oh, Tomas Nosek was a big one. For some reason, I always had like this special bond with the Czech guys, like Nosek and Hronik. And Nosek just went on and won the Stanley Cup with the Panthers last year, so that was awesome to see him do that. Um, but uh, yeah, I don't know. It's just an awesome experience. It's a long one because usually the season ends in April if you're not going to make the playoffs. But we're in the middle of June and still playing. So you go outside and it's like everybody's in their shorts and everything before the game.
Right.
Um, but yeah, we just had such a great group. The announcer, Bob Kaiser, has been there for a long time and he gets super
Yes.
into it. So he's really fun to work with. Um, so yeah, it's just great experience.
Yeah, Bob is great. I love his calls, but as a person in general, I mean, I will say, like, knowing that he's very supportive and talented, and then with Randy Cleaves, he's been there since the beginning, right? Yeah. Um,
So him and
Pretty much.
Bob both worked in Kansas City, I think, together, and
Okay.
they both came over shortly after the Griffins started. But yeah, they came over together, so that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and they both like bought into me on day one when I first started covering the team in 2021 through Zoom conferences. And people like that make you excited to cover a team, which is why I kept doing them after that COVID season and eventually why I moved here. When you have people like that in your court, it's really hard not to surround yourself with those kind of people. So I You definitely got to work around some amazing people, that's for sure.
Yeah.
What other than the Calder Cup, what is maybe some of your favorite moments from working for the team that you got to like cover and put together something for?
Um, we would just do a lot of fun videos. So uh I forgot what we called it, but it would be those videos where we would put the headphones over the players and play music really loud, and they would have to try to
Oh,
read the
guess.
lips of the person across from them. Um, so sometimes the international guys, like the Czech guys, would be really good at it because they were just good at reading lips for some reason. Um, and actually, Tyler Bertuzzi is another one. He did not like being on camera. Like he would do it because he had to, but he didn't like it. So he would just like force himself to be good at everything and would just nail it every time and make it like a not entertaining video. But just like doing that stuff and the behind the scenes of all that and everything was probably the most fun part of it.
Yeah. And you got to see so many of the guys go up top. Was that just kind of cool? Like from a writer standpoint, I always think it's really cool and it's like, wow, I interviewed that guy and it's so great to see him succeed. But from somebody who has way more access to them, what was it like for you?
Yeah. So it was really cool. And I went from the Griffins to the Red Wings also. So I followed a bunch of them. And actually, Mark Newman was the photographer for the Griffins for a long time. And he wrote articles for Graffiti Magazine. And going back to music real quick, so my favorite band, Red Hot Chili Peppers, he covered them the first time they played in Grand Rapids in the 80s when they wore just socks for some of their shows. And he wrote about that when they like first started doing it. He's told me this story before. So the first time they came back and played in Grand Rapids in like 1998, maybe, he was backstage and he went up to Anthony Kiedis and was like, "Hey, I'm the guy that like broke the story about you guys wearing the socks and stuff." And Anthony Kiedis actually got mad at him and he was like, "It was supposed to be about the music and you made it about us wearing socks," which I mean, it probably did like make them as a band, but whatever. Um, but anyways, so Mark Newman, the whole time I worked there, he was working there too. So when I started working for the Red Wings, he came out to Detroit and did a story about me, which was like really cool and like how much they care about their people, like not just the players, but like everybody in the organization. And he was doing it about the players too, but like how they moved up, but how I moved up also. So that was a cool experience. But yeah, like a lot of the guys I mentioned. So Mantha, Ferk, Bertuzzi, Nosek, uh, a bunch of those guys kind of moved up at the same time that I did.
That's incredible. I love that story so much. It does. So that's what I try to tell people about the Griffins is just in general, they care about everyone that walks through those doors, like genuinely care so much. Enough that they write an article about you. Like, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that so much. And so then, yeah, you went on to be with, you got your call up to the big club. What
Yep.
was that like for you?
That was well, it was different. So the AHL and NHL are two different leagues.
Mhm.
The AHL is like well, they call it the Always Hungry League and the Never Hungry League, like for a reason. When you're in the
For a reason.
NHL, when you're in the NHL, anywhere you go, there's just like food and whatever you need anywhere. You go into an away game, you hop on the plane, land, there's a bus there to pick you up. Like you're at your hotel or arena or whatever within minutes, basically, most of the time. Like you never you never don't have what you need. Where in the AHL, it's kind of like you're just trying to make it, which I missed that. Like it's fun being in there and like the grind and because I don't know, there's just more like emotion to it, I guess, and guys are really fighting for their spot. I think I sent you a few pictures. So one of the
Yes.
pictures I sent was, oh, Chris Bruton was fighting Sam Carrick, who I think still plays in the NHL.
He does. Yeah.
Yep. So he knocked him. there's a between the benches area at Van Andel, and we would shoot from in there. And he knocked Sam Carrick into the bench with me, and they're fighting like over the bench. And I had set my phone on the ground just because I was crouched down, and it's like annoying to have it in your pocket. And Sam Carrick's stomping around like right next to my phone. Uh, so I'm like trying to grab that and trying to like film it at the same time. So that was definitely a crazy moment.
Oh, I bet. Oh, I bet. That I will say, yeah, I love the AHL because I feel like there's more passion down
Yeah.
here. Like I know that everybody wants to get to the NHL and there is, high stakes. Guys are getting their dreams, but I feel like some guys get complacent
Hmm.
faster, um,
Yeah.
and don't have as much joy for what they're doing. But in the AHL, like they every day is like a new exciting day for them.
Hmm.
And they try to put their best foot forward on the ice and off the ice because that's just who they are and they have that passion within them to like keep going. And I don't know, I think it's great. And then that passion comes out on the ice in fights.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's always good for anybody to have a goal for like what's their next step in life. Like for me, it was always like, oh, I started as an intern. What am I going to do next and go to the Red Wings and the next thing.
mhm.
And it's just like always have the drive to do something new. And yeah, when you're in the AHL, you're trying to get to the NHL. Once you're there, like what are you trying to do? Like win the Stanley Cup, obviously, but that's a little bit harder to do on a personal level. Like, yes, that's what you want to do, but if it's not going your team's way, then I think it can get tough.
Yeah. Was it hard for you or a hard adjustment to veer out of working in hockey for a team? I mean, obviously you have other passions than hockey, but it was such a part of your life for so long. Was it like a hard adjustment?
I think I was kind of ready to be done. So now I work for a company called LLYC, and we're a marketing firm with an office in Grand Rapids. So I still do video work and everything. And there is still a lot of sports. We've worked with Detroit Sports Commission. Um, when the USFL and then UFL came back, we were working with the Michigan Panthers, and I was doing a bunch of stuff with them. XFC is a fight league that we were working with. Um, so there's still sports mixed in, but there's other stuff too. And it's kind of like good and bad. Like when you're working for a team, you know everything about the team. You know the players, like you know that like it's your life, but then it is your life at the same time. Where now it's kind of spread out. Like I'm working with a bunch of different clients and different people and everything, which is cool. Um, but then at the same time, you never like it's harder to fully integrate yourself in with them too if you're just doing a project every month or every few months or something like that. So there's
Yeah.
good and bad on both ends. So I always try to be like as passionate as I can about any project that I do, find out as much as I can about it and like make it awesome. And sometimes people probably get mad at me and they're like, you're spending too much time on this. Like, there's not enough budget for that. I'm like, yeah, but it's not good enough yet. So
Yeah.
you just got to find the balance and make it work.
Yeah, that is the tough part sometimes is finding that balance, right? Like that's why I stopped, part of the reason why I stopped writing for just sports websites. One, you just don't make any money covering the minors, and I could cover the NHL, but I think that the AHL is magic.
Hmm.
I think there's a lot of stories to tell, and not enough people are talking about it. And I wish I could cover all the teams, but that would be insane.
Yeah.
But I also have other interests too, like, with concerts and uh, religion and books. I'm like a huge book nerd. You can't see in this thing, but I brought like 4 bookshelves worth of books from Ohio, and there's still a ton left there.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that's what makes life right more fun is when you're not just so focused on one thing, that one thing doesn't become your identity. I don't know. I
Yeah,
like it.
for sure. And
Yeah.
yeah, like still now, if I want to go do sports, they'll have me at the Griffins whenever I want to run a camera. And then we've got other teams like the Gold is the basketball team in the G League, and we've got the Rise doing volleyball. So there's plenty of stuff to do if I want to do other things.
Now, I do want to ask, what is your favorite part about living in Grand Rapids? I am new here, so I don't really know all the cool things to do or see.
I think the a big part of it for me is the location. So I love going to the beach. So I can be in Grand Haven or Muskegon to the beach, and I've got two dogs, and I'll bring them out there within 30 minutes. So we do that a lot. It's a big enough city that we get the concerts and have the sports and everything like we've been talking about, but it's not too big. Like there's never horrible traffic or anything like that. Um, and then you can drive 10 minutes north and be like in the country, basically. Or if you want to go to a big city, you can drive 2.5 hours east and go to Detroit, or you can drive down and go to Chicago. So, like, location wise, it's great. Um, and then for me, just like my family and old friends and all of that is still here. So that's nice to have too.
Yeah. And it doesn't hurt that the Griffins are hot this year too.
Yeah, for sure. And the weather, the seasons. I know some people don't like the winter and snow, which I'm like, why do you live here
No.
then?
Right.
Uh,
Like leave.
but I love skiing, and I did some snowshoeing last year and things like that, snowmobiling in the summer, swimming and beach and dirt bikes and biking and running and all that kind of stuff. So I think having the four seasons is awesome.
It is. And you guys have way more sun here than Northeast Ohio. It was a little bit of a shock
Yeah.
when I moved here. Because we were like, oh, it's cloudy here. And I was like, I don't think you know what cloudy is. Like,
I've seen studies. I guess it depends on the year and everything, but Grand Rapids is the second cloudiest city behind Seattle, but I don't know if that's true or not.
yeah. I don't think it is. Because I
Okay.
think I had severe seasonal depression all year round in Northeast Ohio. It could also be the
Okay.
sports teams. We could like really be honest about that too. It could it could go hand in hand with how bad they were.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. Well, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Where can people find you if they want to follow you?
My name is pretty much my tag or my handle on everything. So Michael Spruit. Lately, I've been into TikTok. Actually, I've been kind of doing this little contest with some of my coworkers to try to boost our subscriber numbers on TikTok, which it's like a fun little thing, but has been kind of teaching me like how to pick a niche to be in and um, how to hook people and like make me think more about things that I can then use in my job, but test it on like a personal level. So TikTok's been a big one for me for that. And then Instagram and I don't know. That's pretty much all I use. Facebook, if people use it. I don't know if they do.
Yeah. They they don't really. I mean, I use it, but that's why I know. Well, awesome. Thank you. See, wasn't it great? I had the best time with him. Let me know what you thought was your favorite story or your favorite moment from this episode. I love that I got to talk about two things that I love, hockey and concerts, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Like I said, great guy. Please go to his socials, support him, follow him. He's so good at what he does, and he's very passionate about it. Okay, everyone, have the best week, the best day, the best life. And remember, be kind and love always.
My theme music is One Light by Nick Wilkinson and the Featured Players. You can find their latest album, Live Volume 1, on Bandcamp and Spotify. Live Volume 1 was recorded in front of a live audience on May 26, 2017, at Jilly's Music Room in Akron, Ohio.